Welcome to a second installment of the NCS highlights. Last year I did two parts, in other words I did 2024 in two parts. Today we will discuss January from this year up until June. July up until December will be done at the end of the year. Of course, because well, nothing else is out yet. So let's get right into it for the first track. The first track that I wanted to talk about is On the Break of Dawn by Cartoon and all the others. A very large comeback for such an interesting song. Cartoon was last seen on NCS with the song Whatever, without counting the remixes of On and On. Not only that, they collaborated with an orchestral band called Nordic Pulse, and all the other people on the title make this the biggest collab on NCS in history, with 36 people making a song for NCS. That's crazy. But not only that, the song sounds nice and the rest of it is just, well, history. A very good start for the Cartoon and Friends LP. Although On the Break of Dawn wasn't really funky, well, another song is really funky. Of course, Tobu Funk It. It's a really energetic but lay low Tobu track. It has some funky vibes that we didn't really hear from him before. That is a plus point, as I really like that artists diverse in their own genre and try to experiment. It has a really nostalgic feel, especially with the background and just the very grand epic melody together with it. This is just a really Tobu typical song, and I love that we got some more Tobu this year. And for the next track, it's time to call a duck. Because Temanite and Chime Duckstep is the next track of this highlight video. It's of course a very weird, funny and comedic song if you use a duck, well, as a sample for the song. It is of course a continuation of the Geometry Dash collab, and it's just a really cool dubstep track. Not really out of the blue what I expected from these two artists. Especially that, well, Temanite is a debut on NCS and he has crazy other off-label songs, but it was an interesting track nonetheless. And also, because of Chime, we got Micro Dubstep on NCS. The second drop is really cool and cute, but I do prefer the first drop, as I'm really, well, digging the harder stuff rather than the small stuff in some songs. But nonetheless, still a very good track. And the next track was a very phenomenal comeback for something that no one would have expected before. Ramesses B Asteroid 2. Ramesses B Asteroid was a promotion on NCS, as you all may know, in 2013. It is a song that, well, got deleted after the converting to releases on NCS, and well, it was gone forever. But Ramesses B just brought it back with a new flair, with his new style, rather than his dubstep style from back in the day, what Asteroid 1 was made of. But his newer drum and bass style for the second part of this song. It's really interesting, and it is the first and, well, so far only track that was a promotion before that got a second track on NCS that is actually a release. So a very interesting track. It sounds really Ramesses B like, and well, it extended his streak for uploading a song since 2023, I think. Crazy. And now, but at the time of recording, he laid low a little bit, and I think I like that. If we got even more Ramesses B than we got this year, maybe it would have been a little bit too much. But nonetheless, Asteroid 2, well, when Asteroid 3? But Asteroid was not the only track which got a second part. As Coven Electrolyte Skyline Part 2 came out for the Geometry Dash collab. Well, a really awesome track, as I really adore the first one. The second one isn't really better or worse. The first one and the second one both have a 10 out of 10. It's just such an energetic track. It fits the vibe of a Geometry Dash very well. There are added vocals that is very phenomenal. The track got a sort of a melodic switch, as the melody is not really the same at some parts as we already know from the first one. It's just a really well made second part, and well, both Coven and Electrolyte came back after, well, a while for not being here. Coven of course with Zuchi and Vanko for Underrated, and Electrolyte, well, I guess Symbolism Part 3. This was just such a nice track. As some songs try to lay low, others don't, but this song did both. Biometrics and Zelly lay low. At first a song that really tries to be like a Cradles in my opinion, but the melody is quite cute, the vocals are very mysterious and I like it. It is a very nice track and nothing really was, well, special at the first drop. But then Biometrics did something that made the track, well, up until another level. There was some rock and eventually the second drop rolled around and it was awesome. It was completely different than the first and that made the track even better. There are two really cool vibes combined together, and if you like a, well, quite cute and small drop, the first drop is for you. But if you are like a headbanger, grandness, melodic guy, well, use the second drop. It's just such a nice track and very unique, and it brought the green circle back for something very special. And just a while later something came back with also a sort of second installment. KJD and Division 1 Just a Minute More featured Halverson. Great track. It of course is a sort of second installment from Somebody Like Me in 2022. Both tracks have a future bass, glitch hop vibe. I don't really know which one is the dominating one, but still, this track, when it came out, it was very awesome. Something that just really resembled the first one, with amazing vocals from Halverson. As we know, he is really good at singing, he brings just a smile to my face, he has something really quite special, but it also is quite different and even more ear candy and maybe a little bit ear rape if you really don't like that harsh sound, but I do. So well, this song, well, could have been just a minute more, because 3 minutes for a song, well, I like 4 minutes, because this song needed 4 minutes. And for the next track, just a small, quite quick mention. Diviner's Change featured November Lights. We all know Diviners for their really quite chill tracks, as Geometry last year didn't really fit their vibe, as Tobu dominated that track in my opinion. This is back to their roots, what I actually really adore, with the beginning of the vocals from November are quite phenomenal. They are right into your ears and they are very warm. The rest of the track just speaks for itself, just a really nice Diviner's house track. As I didn't mention a remix before, let's mention this remix. Wario Mortals, Tokyo Machine and Boom Kitty remix. An orchestral remix for Mortals as the funk one. As you know, I don't know really, it sounds nice, but nonetheless, it is not really quite special. This is, well, different. It has dubstep from another world together with Tokyo and Boom Kitty. That's a quite interesting collab, as they were both in a Geometry Dash collab. They made the track even more epic, grand, harsh, and the vocals from the original Laura Brain are really quite integrated. And well, this song was so interesting that I even made a Netflix Desperate Wario Mortals Tokyo Machine Boom Kitty remix mashup. Yeah, a mouthful, but well, I have to mention this. That's just a quite nice mashup I made.
accepted. Negative energy unexpected. Once it's in your mind,
The whole track is just such a great vibe, and I love to hear more from these two as a collaboration on NCS in the future. And the Blue Circle didn't stop there, as 2 releases later, it came back. Wales Die For You. What a comeback for Wales. The last time we saw him for Love Is Gone in 2021. A track that was quite nice, but Die For You is dubstep on another level. It is only, well, quite 1 drop long, but there are 2 drops, but the 2 drops are quite close to each other, so it feels like 1 drop as a whole. But the first drop is quite harsh and melodic and very ear candy like. It is not as heavy as the second is even heavier, and he states in the track itself, listen to the hard one. Yeah, that's something that was even more wild. A comeback for Wales that we all needed, and yeah, that second drop, it was crazy. Together with just the beautiful intro and outro, and some vocals, yeah, this track is really the best of 2025 material, worth it. So far, the second best track of the whole year. Most of the time I don't really like Brazilian funk that much that it can reach the 9 out of 10 range, but one song was able to do it. The Twisted Buzzin' remix by an artist that I won't pronounce in this podcast. The track is quite short, I know, but for what it gave us not a really harsh, ear rape buzzin', but it gave us a more chiller buzzin' track. As the bells are really chill, as the bells are really fun and really satisfying in the track. The still vocals, chops that are there are nicely integrated. This is just one of the best, maybe the best, by twice thinking of it, no, not the best, but maybe the second best funk track on the whole label, including funk. Just a very wild track. And 2 releases later, even a more wild song came out. Badlock Buried Alive featured Reaps. Did I ever expect something this hard to come out? Well, maybe not, as Back Again by That Behavior was before it. I thought Neurofunk had its place that month, but Buried Alive just ended that month even greater with crazy vocals from Reaps, which were really impactful, reaching and deep, with a very wild Badlock Neurofunk melody. It was crazy, it gave me sort of Centric vibes even by how wild, insane, harsh, hard it was. It was a very long track, and it is even longer than NCS uploaded it, as the music video was just 4 minutes and 50 seconds. The track itself is, I believe, 5 minutes long, and to have such a really atmospheric banger, yeah, one of the best songs that came out this year, and together just with these vocals, what I already mentioned, well, quite a banger track. As we had before, Coven and Electrolyte coming back, and also Cartoon, those were not the only very big comebacks this year, as the next one was quite ginormously insane. Spectrum's Stutterfly. Last year when NCS 13 rolled around, we got a Shine preview or something like that, and we were all thinking that Spectrum was coming back, but sadly it was a Shine Hardstyle remix, a disappointment for many. But that Stutterfly track made it happen. The dreams came true. Spectrum came back after 12 freaking whole years. It's so insane that we got Spectrum back after his political career. He just came back with another track, and it has the old same vibe of Shine, as Shine had, and other house songs back in the day. It has a really long intro and long outro that feels like an extended outro or an extended version of the track, but no, it's just the whole track. And the vocals are resembling the Shine track so well that this song is just on the same level as, well, greatness. Maybe Shine is better, as Shine has a very nice energetic vibe. Stutterfly is a little bit chiller, but still a very good track and a phenomenal return from Spectrum. And who knows that we will get him back for maybe NCS 14? Who knows? But what a very good comeback for both Spectrum and House itself. But House didn't stay there with a very nice treat. As Tobu Live Your Life came out, 3 minutes of a very slow but epic Tobu song. He just leaned more into Jim Joseph style, as I really like Jim Joseph. As you may already know, Tobu Live Your Life has an orchestral vibe that I have never heard before. It was grand, it was epic, nothing ever that I would expect it in the, well, main drops. The verses, the intro and the outro all have not really orchestral vibes, so you don't really can, well, expect it if you didn't hear the preview or anything like that. So when I heard it the first time with that drop, I was blown away. It was amazing. It brought me so many chills and nostalgic vibes, flashbacks from things I didn't even knew I had flashbacks for. Yeah, this was a track that was amazing. Together with that second drop, that laser part of the later part of the second drop, wow. Tobu, that was the very best track of yours. It even had beaten Destiny. And if you can beat that, then you know that Tobu made a very masterpiece house track. Do you know what also has house in its name? Yup, JJD Assertion Lighthouse featured Philosophy, a track that was in the makes for more than 3 years, and it closely could have resembled a track near NCS 10, as JJD and Assertion collaborated with each other back then with Streetlights, with Time to Talk as well, with Exalo. That this track was in the makes for 3 years is quite hearable, as I really hear the older NCS vibe from 2020 up until 2021. The future bassy melodic dubstep like vibe is, well, very hearable here. As it's very cute, very beautiful, and especially very clean in production, as my girlfriend Ixdia has this as her favorite NCS song so far. This song had to be mentioned, as this track, yeah, as it brought the Lavender Circle back with something quite phenomenal. And JJD and Assertion finally released a track that indeed we really needed for this year. And another comeback was on the horizon. Lost Sky and Anna Yvette carry on, as both artists came back after a while for not releasing, especially Anna. This was a really interesting track from Lost Sky. As we all know, his older Lost and Fearless vibes are quite gone. He more leaned into, well, Unbreakable and his latest track Calling. They aren't quite hard anymore, but more atmospherically great, if that's even a word. They all have a very nice melody. It just flows through the song. But this song didn't really flew that clean, as it has a really trippy drop that you can see in the circle in the background, and then you can hear it in the melody. It was quite clean, although with that stutter vibe. A track that we really needed for both artists, and it was really nice to hear that nostalgic Anna voice again, after not hearing it for 2 to 3 years. I hope these two artists both can return soon again. This was such a nice green circle track. But another one was coming up as well. Wario Dunes. As we all knew, we had the Mortals remix. Wario was woken up from the dead and he came back with a second track that really sounded Wario-like. As we all know, he has just 2 releases now on NCS, Without counting the promotion, back then, Dunes really fit the vibe and its name. It's a really Arabic and Egyptian-like track with a really interesting drop, well, drops as well, as it has grander drops with some orchestral vibes here and there, but also the bass darker drop that is in the middle of the song or so is quite interesting and made the song, well, a little bit more fresher than it already was. A very nice welcome back for Wario, and I hope we are getting even more comebacks this year, even from Wario itself, as wow, he still can make music, like he did with Mortals back in the day. But oh boy, that wasn't the last great comeback. Because after 10 years Fitch came back with Fading Light. Wow, a track that resembled 2013 as a whole. Really harsh dubstep, but still with a very old school vibe, but also clean with the production. It had some rock elements, but some rock elements were cut, as some know that it had more rock than it eventually got in the release of NCS, but still, very nice track, especially with that vocalist that is uncredited in the title, and I don't really know out of the top of my head. All things considered, this was a really phenomenal track for this year, and for after 10 years not releasing a track, and to come back with a 10 out of 10 is quite phenomenal. And the Science Circle didn't stop there with some bangers. Spectrum Shine Netty Flip or remix, how you wanna call it, came out. A very color-based remix for Shine. As we got Spectrum back just a month ago, 1 month later Shine Netty Flip came out. Got us in the vibe of Shine and Spectrum itself. Such a colorful track. Nothing too out of the ordinary, luckily, as maybe that could have brought the track down. This is just a very solid remix or flip, and something that we could have used maybe last year with NCS 13 rather than the hardstyle remix. And the Science Circle wasn't done yet. With the third streak in a row, Chime and Nitrix Runaway was here. A wild Chime track, not gonna lie. Very melodic at first, with some beautiful Nitrix vocals, as we didn't hear Nitrix since 2019 with Find You. A really phenomenal track, melodic wise, but eventually a sort of harder drop is there to hear. Something really great from Chime, and I didn't really expect that at first, as Chime made before. Not really that harsh or wild tracks, but now he did. But then that third sort of drop, that just is, well, very weird. I don't know how to explain it, but it just is very interesting. It's just like rising with the melody and then ducking with the melody. It's rising again, and it's just really, really cool to end the track right there. Such an interesting track. Wow. And just 1 month later, Wales came back again. With Gash, called the track Ghost in the Wall. Just a quick mention, as I really like the drum and bass in this track. It is quite harsh and nothing seen from Wales before, and also Gash gets a proper debut in NCS, as he did something else for Sekai, if I'm right, back in the day. Some interesting vocals here as well, especially in the later second drop, and the second drop with that hands up part is also very amazing. Such a nice track. Some tracks feel very alive, and one track did it very literally. Tamlin Alive came out with the orange circle, a really redeeming for that circle color, as we all know what it did in 2023, and this song brought back a very familiar genre. Some say it's not new disco, some say it is, and I am a part of that group. It isn't called do disco, it feels like do disco, it's very funky with a very nice melody with the vocals that I really want to sing along with. It is a very fun track and I'm even saying this all with a smile on my face. It is just such a nice track and it redeemed really the circle in my opinion. Sadly after that it took a very harsh crash back to the ground, but we're not going to talk about that track today. Already may know what I'm talking about. Rush! But this track just really felt alive. And the drops are so interesting, and especially when Tamlin just has a few hundred listeners per month on Spotify. Crazy. And maybe with this track he can maybe get on fire. Speaking about fire, Biometrics, Imioden and Apollo on the Run Like Fire got uploaded to the label. A very lay low-esque song in my opinion. And with some great trap influences here and there, but especially that rock. And the vocals from Imioden are well made. Well made is maybe an understatement. They are very fantastic. With some part I have a complaint about it when he sings Like Fire, the fire part is lower and it feels out of tune with the melody, but that's maybe my thing. The rest of the track is just completely gold. It has a very grand atmosphere and the whole vibe is just that the song is on fire. Pun intended. Crazy track and a very good comeback for all these three artists. It's like a song, it doesn't really get that much attention, but it really deserves more. This was crazy good. After that it took a while for another highlight to pop on to the list today. But the next one, oh boy. Justin O, Botcash and Prong. Ghost of Me is the next track, as the dark blue circle finally returned again. With some crazy bro step, very cool. Well, with two amazing main drops in the first half and the second half, but especially that darker drop in the middle of the song was very cool, as it just brought the track to another level. The vocals didn't really fit at first in my opinion, and as it really felt like pop for some bizarre reason, but after that it was fitting it, as I am quite used to it now. Such a well-made track and just a gem that, well, we cannot forget in this video. And there's something else that we cannot forget as well. More Plastic and Amber J Sirens, a track that is unbelievably dark by the More Plastic guys, with crazy vocals from Amber that are mysterious and are quite fitting the song, unlike Ghost of Me in my opinion. Her lyrics are mysterious, her vocal performance is very mysterious and, well, dark in a way as well, and that really fit the melody of the song. As we all know, the pretty great harsh bass line is amazing. It is very dark and sharp and harsh, as yeah, the NCS upload on YouTube is a wrong version from the one on Spotify. There is a quite small difference there, but other than that, it's still a 10 out of 10 if I listen to one or the other. Such a great track, and 4.5 minutes for a duration is for, well, these days quite rare, as 1 minute songs are, well, too common nowadays. Sirens, yeah, this song was a masterpiece. But this video cannot end yet, as we all know what is missing right now. Bad Boys Roy Knox and Jake Neumar Need You Again. A comeback for Roy Knox that was unbelievable. We last seen him last year at Your Poison, and that before that it was Fell for a Demon, a crazy track that overtook Living with Regret. But now he overtook himself again, yet again, with the 9th or 10th 10 out of 10 on the label ever. Yeah, his comeback here is crazy. But of course, Sad Boys here with a very, well, not much rock influences here and there, especially not in the first part of the song. There Roy was really dominating, but the second half of the song, it brought their rhythm back with the drums, and yeah, that really ascended the song very much farther than it was going to be without that drop. But one person is really the factor why this song is, well, as you all know, the best NCS song ever now, as it overtook The Right Time. It is all because of Jake. His vocals are really emotional, really soft, warm, but when it comes to the drops, he really is grand in singing. He lets it all out as no one before on the label. Maybe Mika Martin not counting here, but still, Jake, wow. Your vocals are crazy good in the drops, and you can hear yourself scream and just, well, not scream, more like shouting with vocals, like shouting, singing. It's unbelievable. But especially that second drop, with your loudest shout yet of the song. Wow, chills on my body. This is just a great track, and it is well deserved that The Right Time has been beaten. The Right Time has done its job. Need You Again is now here, and wow, Sad Boys, Roy and Jake, I Need You Again, as this track with this collaboration, it deserved to be the best song of NCS ever. So this was it for all the highlights of 2025 so far. July is not counted yet, and we will see what, well, July will bring us in the second part of this mini series. Bye-bye!